What a time to be alive in the green side of Glasgow as the boys keep their treble hopes alive with a 5-0 win over Championship side Raith Rovers. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Easy day for Celtic. I thought Raith Rovers were, going to be at least a little bit competitive, maybe get a goal, maybe give Celtic a scare, but nah, it did not happen today. Great job for Celtic. 5-0, gave Raith Rovers no chance. Maeda playing up through the middle, and you're thinking, Kyogo-Who, we don't need Furuhashi anymore. Maeda could be the main man for Celtic going forward, and I think that is something that Brendan Rodgers will be looking at. You got Jota coming back. I mean, could he be playing on the left, Kuhn on the right, Maeda through the middle? That is a scary front three. As good as Kyogo was, I think arguably that front three isn't any weaker than what Celtic had going into January.
Maeda's on fire. I'd say right now he's easily the best player in the league. I mean, the guy's scoring braces, hat tricks, you name it. Celtic will just be... I mean, this isn't, put a negative on this performance here, but they would... I mean, how much will they miss him against Bayern Munich because he's suspended? And they missed him against Villa. You know what I mean? And it was a needless red card that he did against Young Boys.
Yeah, Maeda certainly will be missed when it comes to the Champions League. But let's talk about the Scottish Cup. Celtic are safely through into the quarterfinals. They have to be the favourites to win it. They're probably the favourites to win every single competition in Scotland. And I don't see no reason why they're not favourites for this one as well. Maeda, I think, could be just as good. I'm not going to say he's better than Kyogo. I'm not going to say he's worse than Kyogo, but he's different than Kyogo. And while Maeda, Kyogo and Kuhn was a really good front three, I think that Jota, Maeda and Kuhn can be equally as good. Albeit Maeda, he's quicker than Kyogo. He's got a better engine than Kyogo, but I think Kyogo's got more intelligent play. I think Maeda can probably press more than Kyogo, but can he press smarter than Kyogo?
Probably not.
I mean, Maeda can make runs, but can he make the intelligent runs like Kyogo can? No, but I do think that Maeda has got, a bit more pace than Kyogo, and I think he's got a better engine than Kyogo, but I mean, not saying that Kyogo didn't have an engine, but we've seen that Maeda sometimes seems unhuman with the amounts that he seems to run. So, look, I think it's going to be an interesting front three going forward. It's different. I'm not going to say it's better. I'm not going to say it's worse. I think we'll know more by the end of the season. But this, to me, was a positive that Maeda started and he got the hat-trick. And, I mean, if I was Adam Maeda, I'd be thinking, God, that's me lost my position already.
I think Kyogo's negative is Maeda's positive. I don't think enough Celtic fans, or the league in general, actually appreciated Maeda. We just seen him as an engine, a guy that could run for days, but...
A guy that had James Tavernier on toast.
Yeah, walks him like a dog every match.
Puts the collar on, puts the lead on, and he tells Tavernier the way he's going.
Might not be an orange lead, but here he still walks him either way, and Maeda, I think now he is going to get more recognition, and that's the thing, right? If you're Rodgers, and if Jota, who is rusty, but he's expected to have a lot of minutes for Rennes, right? If he gets up to speed and gains a bit more kg, because he looks very thin, you can't... I mean, the front three for Celtic, as you said, it's got to be Jota, Kuhn and Maeda, right? It can't be Adam Maeda. Because Maeda right now, if he's banging in hat-trick after hat-trick... I'm not saying he's going to bang hat-trick after hat-trick, but it's goals galore. And you want that guy through the middle.
I mean, he does start through the middle for Japan, so obviously the Japan manager rates him.
He does. And here, are we now seeing why he picked him over Kyogo? Potentially.
I mean, could we argue that Maeda's better down the middle than he is out in the left, but the reason he was playing on the left is because Kyogo was at Celtic?
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying that Maeda's better than Kyogo down the middle, but could we argue that Maeda's better as a centre-forward striker than he is a left winger?
Here, we absolutely could, and his numbers this season, we'll have to see. We can judge at the end of the season. If you compare him through the middle compared to, starting on the wing. But again, I still think Adam Maeda is going to start a lot through the middle. But let's get into this game.
It gives them options because Maeda and Aida are two different players totally. So
weird one for
good.
Celtic because Scott Brown tackles Luke McCown. Decent tackle at the back, but not often you hear Scott Brown make a tackle against him.
Yeah, not the Scott Brown though, but Scott Brown nonetheless.
Nope, but it's horrendous defending here for Raith in the end. After this, they go forward. It's Bernardo who did go off injured. We'll get into that later on. He flicks it through to Maeda. Great. I mean, it's a great pass, but horrific from Raith's two centre-backs. And Maeda just sits the goalie down, spanks him, man. 1-0. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
And, I mean, not to get carried away, but I thought this was the game over at this point. I think for Raith to have a chance, they needed to... They could not afford to lose any early goal.
No, they couldn't.
Not many teams can.
But if you can keep it at 1-0, then you can do what you can.
But they didn't.
But they didn't. But they conceded it right on the brink of half time. But before we get there, Calmack, he hit the post. The bar, sorry. Scales then blocked the Mullen shot. Mullen then chips Sinsola. And I'd say there's probably two negatives today for Celtic for me. It is the goalie did not look comfortable. I mean, he should have caught this. And every corner that got whipped in for Raith, he couldn't handle it. You can clearly see why Kasper Schmeichel has been starting every game for Celtic. I say a level, but 5 levels above this guy.
Is there a reason why he didn't start today?
Back injury, apparently. But he'll be alright for Bayern Munich. Why not just come out and say, we're playing Raith, we're going to put faith in Sinisola? I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it's like, how convenient.
Who's got more faith, Rodgers in Sinisola or me and Raith?
Must be Rodgers, but I thought the goalie was quite... But here... It's not like any of the mistakes he made resulted in goals, but you want.
And he wasn't tested really today.
No, I mean you want to. I mean, like I said, this chip for Mullen here, he should have easily dealt with it, but it went out for a corner. Great if you have a corner bet, right? We then had a McCown get tackled. The commentator's like, "Oh, is that a penalty?" No, it wasn't a penalty. McCown I can't remember who the Raith player was, but he got booted. Schlupp then has a chip of his own, doesn't really do much. Bernardo then gets subbed off, so. This looked pretty bad. Hatate got brought on this around the 33rd minute. So again, this is the only other negative really for Celtic.
Any update on this Bernardo injury?
No update. Not as yet. As we're talking about this at past 8 o'clock. I'm going to assume you'll need a scan and things like that. But if there's one area where Celtic can deal with an injury, it's probably that midfield.
Yeah, but you still don't want to be losing a player the quality of Bernardo. But
no, absolutely not. But again, Raith have more corners, but that's all Raith really did in this first half. And eventually... The corners are the architect of their own downfall because Celtic hit the counter-attack here. Maeda, blistering pace, 2-0. I mean, the guy, he's the fastest player in the league. And the one thing Raith did not want to do is concede on the counter a minute before half-time. Because see at 1-0...
Effectively kills the game, doesn't it?
Yep, at 1-0, you have half a chance, right? You can get one each and you can take it to extra time and penalties or whatever, right? But see at 2-0, game over. Half time comes, Celtic come out, Luke McCown gets a flick, Yang gets a tap in, Maeda makes it 5.
Raith would have been better off
it's all over.
Getting on the bus at half time and sneaking out the back door.
No, they would have. Raith, what is there to say about Raith? They're sitting 7th in the Championship. They were expected to get beat today. What can they take from it? Well, they lost less than what Dundee did.
Yeah, which is, I guess is a positive, but nah, for me, I have no love for Raith. I think they treated Ian Murray really poorly.
They did.
And they deserve what they're getting this season.
We've got Barry Robson as manager. What do you make of Barry Robson?
I mean, he had a good spell at Aberdeen, but he also had a really poor spell.
Sounds like someone I know.
Had some, yeah.
Sounds like Jimmy Thielen to me, brother.
Had some memorable nights in Europe, so... Barry Robson, interested to see what he'll do at Raith. But, I mean, I think this season's all about just consolidating their position. And
no, but see, think of it, right? See the fact he took Aberdeen to, Frankfurt, and he also beat them at Pittodrie? It just highlights the actual job he did there in Europe. Europe was great.
He done great. I mean, you look at Hearts this season, couldn't even beat Petrocub to qualify for the next round. So,
if you're being honest,
and Aberdeen were unlucky. People can say what they want. Barry Robson should have qualified that campaign. That they were robbed against, was it Olympiakos, the Greek team? They were fucking robbed in that game.
No, but it's like if you can go to Frankfurt.
What do you mean? I mean, they were robbed in that.
No, but if you can go to but if you can go to Frankfurt, right, and honestly, should at least got a draw. And
the other one against Frankfurt, they only lost by a goal.
That's what I'm on about.
And they had a chance to draw 2-2 in the last minute.
Yeah, so Barry Robson's obviously a good pedigree, so maybe bearing that in mind, could Raith have done a bit better today? Potentially, I mean, Celtic fielding, pretty much 9 changes. But when you concede that first goal, it's game over.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Raith do next year. I think that they will be in the. I think they'll be in the promotion playoff places next year, or at least fighting for them. This season, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Partick are just kind of in a league of their own, aren't they? Like, so they're too far behind the top three, but they're probably too far ahead of anybody else to be caught.
Let's touch on Partick. Got pumped 5-2 by Falkirk. Scott Arfield hat-trick.
Scott Arfield, life in the old tank, yep.
Scott Arfield, more goals in Scottish football in an hour than Kieran Doyle has in his last 18 months.
I think Scott Arfield could do a job in the Premiership, and who knows? Maybe he'll be in the Premiership next season with Falkirk go up.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to see him back in the league, and he's one of those players that would be good for Falkirk in the Premiership.
Absolutely.
A difference maker. But yeah, Celtic, they join. Who do they join? Livy, Hibs.
Hamilton.
No, Hamilton. St Johnstone.
Oh, St Johnstone, that's the one.
And who's that other team? Dundee. I tell you what, who does Celtic want to avoid? I mean, obviously, Hibs. Hibs at Easter Road. That's the only real game. I'm not saying if Hibs get Celtic at Easter Road, that's the tasty game.
Yeah, no, for me, as long as they avoid each other in the quarter final, I think it's pretty damn easy to pick the two semi-finals. It's looking like the two teams for Glasgow and the two teams for Edinburgh.
Yep.
Obviously, if they get each other, then that can't happen, but...
I mean, Aberdeen could lock into a...
Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Do you don't think they'll beat Dunfermline?
No, they might, but I mean, they're not competing. I don't think they're beating any of those other.
What about Livy?
Yeah, but obviously, if those four teams that I said avoid each other, one of them's getting Aberdeen.
Well, true. Yeah,
you use your brain here. And that would mean that I think Aberdeen's going to...
They turn up for Rangers.
Aberdeen's not beating Rangers.
They don't, but here, I think no matter what, we're getting...
I think they'll be lucky to beat Dunfermline tomorrow.
I did predict Dunfermline. Yeah, looking forward to the draw. It should be a good one, but I think an Old Firm and an Edinburgh Derby semi-final would be interesting.
I want Celtic at Tynecastle. I want them. I want to play the best, right? No, nobody. I don't care about playing mid-table teams.
Play Aberdeen then, no.
No, I want.
You take Aberdeen over Celtic right now.
No,
Aberdeen are shite.
I wouldn't. I want Celtic.
All right then.
Be the best, you got to beat the best, and Celtic are the best.
You're going to look like a dick on Monday night when Hearts aren't even in the hat.
Oh, we'll be there.
Right, huh?
Stephen Robinson's not going to...
Unless you're willing to bet on it.
Yeah.
Top Rockers.
Aye.
Prospect.
Stephen Robinson's not going to do shit.
Is he not?
No, St Mirren's form's been after the boil. We'll be there. I don't think I'll be comfortable, but I mean, we'll get over the line. I say it's 3-1. I'm sticking by that.
We'll see how comfy it is on Monday night. Then.
So we'll be there. We'll be joining the big boys. We'll be there with Celtic and Hibernian. Will Rangers be there?
Aye. Callum Davidson's getting no hope.
Aye, maybe Dunfermline. We'll see them.
I reckon Dunfermline. Honestly, I do.
Anyway, that's it. Celtic still going for the treble. Yeah, technically still going for the quadruple.
Yep. Obviously, Bayern Munich up next for Celtic. As I touched on, Maeda will be a miss. Bernardo will be a miss.
What is more likely? Rangers winning the treble, Celtic winning the quadruple. What scenario is more likely to happen?
Oh, fuck. Because...
Now, I'd say Rangers are a lot more likely to win the Europa League than Celtic are the Champions League, but...
The league.
I would Rangers more...
No, you know what, I would... No, and this isn't even biased, right? I would argue the quad... No, not the quad, the treble. Because I think if Rangers are good enough to win the Europa League, that must mean they've got much better in the league as well.
True. Whereas you don't see Celtic winning the Champions League.
No, anyone... Here, Europa League's the minor competition. Champions League's the elite one.
Well, we're always reminded of that every Thursday.
You know what I mean? Europa League's the easy one to win, so of course I'm going to go with the treble.
Interesting.
But Celtic aren't beating Bayern, right? They've got, I believe Sutton took a line out of your book. He said even if they signed a £25 million striker, it wouldn't make a difference.
That's true. So I don't blame the Celtic board at all. The problem is they probably blew their chances of getting into the next round. Not probably, they did when they drew against Club Brugge and Dynamo Zagreb. Had they won one of those games, they would have been higher up. I mean, they would have been a seed. Had they won both of them, they would have been in the top 8. But at the same time, there was some big teams that underperformed. So Celtic could have easily been a seeded team and still got PSG or Man City.
Yep.
It's just unfortunate. It is what it is. They were unlucky.
Aye. Unlucky guys, but a big game. European preview show.
Bayern Munich must be the best team. Well, them and Real Madrid. They must be the two best teams that didn't finish in the top 8. And that's the two teams that Celtic got paired with. It's unfortunate. What can you do?
What can you do? Anyway, guys, we'll be back very soon. Till then, peace.